everybody, this is Ashish Fernando, your global survival guide, and today I'm at Bryce National Park. Just look at these amazing structures, and I decided while I'm here, why not show you all the world through my lens and also talk about just national parks in America. This is one of the best national parks that America has to offer. It's called the Bryce National Park. It's very close to another brilliant national park called Zion National Park. These are both in Utah, but today we're focusing on Bryce while also talking about just how amazing it is as a student to go to national parks. And it's amazing how much you can save while also look at these gorgeous, gorgeous things around you that America has to offer. I'm here for the weekend, and what a pleasant surprise. So the pictures didn't even do justice to what I got to see here. So the federal government of the US does a great job on building national parks and the national forest and just in general stuff for you to do while you're here for such little money, and it's amazing. We're doing a whole loop. It's a 10-mile loop around the canyon, and you get to see these amazing structures made out of limestone and sand and rock. These are called hoodoos, and it's kind of a funny name, but I think it has its origins in the indigenous Red Indian population in the US. So they're called hoodoos, those little structures that you saw. And you know what's amazing is that these structures keep breaking on a day-to-day, week-on-week basis because of all the thawing that happens with the rain, and then at night it's really cold because it's almost like desert climate, so it gets very cold and the water freezes and it breaks the rocks and stones, and what you get out of it is something like that. Oh, look at that. It's actually limestone that's broken down into almost soil and fine grain. So coming back to national parks, correct yourself, camera. So some interesting stats about the national park system in America. If you just count them, there's about 423 national parks to be precise. But together, they cover 84 million acres of land. 84 million acres of land, guys, and that's a lot of land just covered in national parks, right? And I've been to a bunch of those over my time in America as a student when I came here in 2013, all the way till now while I'm working here, and you know, we're building the business and doing things. But oh, look at this beautiful thing. Stop staring at these structures. Yeah, so what I've discovered, and I wanted to share this with you, is you can get something called the annual National Park Pass. It's an annual pass and it costs $80, which, yeah, you know, I don't want to convert that to your currencies, but $80 is what the pass costs. Gives you access to all national parks for 1 year. That's a lot, right? And it's actually a pass for your vehicle, so for your family basically, right? So if you are 4 people in the car, I mean husband, wife and kids, or if you are a couple of friends or whatever, you can go in with just the one pass, and there's so much to see. It's amazing. this is how a camping spot looks. So this is typically how every camping spot in the US would look within a national park. And basically what you'll have is a road that leads you from the main road into the campground, and then a place to park your car. So this is kind of a place designated for the car parking, and then right next to it you will find the little spot here surrounded by trees, right? And every spot typically will have a fire pit. It's a cool little pit, and this one is actually way better. It even has a little rack for you to grill something if you want, vegetables and meat. Has a little stool made of a tree trunk, and then it has a picnic table. And this is what typically comprises a nice and clean camping spot. And then you'll have a piece of empty land on the side where you can plant your tent. And if you are in a fancy kind of campground, what you'll also see is between all the campsites will be a nice little restroom and sometimes even showers. So we did not pick these to stay, and that's the interesting part. This is where hustling comes in. So I'll talk to you about it in a little bit. This is so good. There's a bunch of deer, and they're usually not so afraid of humans anymore because they see so many of them across the park, driving and waiting, clicking pictures of them. So now they're kind of used to it. So carry lots of water when you're, especially in the Midwest, in Utah, Colorado, you need to carry a lot of water. There's a very attractive trash can in my background. So we're going to move the background and we're going to go towards the rim trail again, where we saw all those amazing hoodoos. Come on. Ooh, hoo, 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 hoo. So what I want to talk to you guys more now is about how to get little hacks to make your trip to a national park worthwhile and also not end up spending a lot of money. Like of course, if you get a campsite like the one I showed you, it's going to hardly cost you between $10 to $30 for overnight camping, and this is if you're inside the national park. If you pick a campground outside, it's probably going to cost you a little more, between $25 to $50 a night to camp. And if you pick one of the lodges that are in the area, that's going to take it up to about $100. If you pick the nicer cabins, hotels, it's going to take it to about $200. So you have to be very careful. So there are some hacks that I can talk to you about. So here's what we did. Typically when you're inside a national park, finding a campsite can be a little difficult, right? Because you have to, a lot of them are first come first serve, but still you have to wake up really early in the morning, 6 a.m. and then be there. Otherwise you're gonna lose your spot for a campground. And then it becomes very hard, especially in peak season during summer. Getting a campsite becomes really hard. So what we did when we came to Bryce, we did of course check the campgrounds. There's two of them that are open right now during COVID. One is called the North Campground and there's another one called Sunset Campground. Both of them were fully packed because we only arrived by about noonish from Salt Lake City. to Bryce. It was about a three and a half hour drive, so we came in a little late, and of course we knew that the spots are gonna be gone by then. But there's one little secret. So there's national parks and then there's national forests, and typically near the national park there will be a boundary after which it will actually be the national forest instead of the national park, and that's run by the federal government, whereas the national parks, they're usually more secluded, they're more secure areas. They're run by states at times, sometimes run by the National Forest Service. But what the key difference is, when you're in a national forest, you can camp anywhere. You don't have to be at a designated campground or a campsite. You can park your car if you get a nice safe spot near the roadside, or if there's a little mud road, you find somewhere you can go in, park it, and then find a nice spot, camp there. And that's what we did. We went a little outside of the campground, and then we found a spot and we parked our car and we camped over there. And it's free, guys, so you can camp in the national forest for free, then come into the national park in the morning, enjoy all that the national park has to offer, and then go back to your campsite. Isn't that cool? And this is what you see inside the national park. Oh my god, every national park in America has something different to offer. So Bryce has all of these hoodoos and the amphitheater, but then if you go to Yosemite, for instance, I'll talk about a few national parks I've been to. Yosemite is by far my favorite. It's in California, and there's the Yosemite Valley is in between these two amazing pieces of rock formation, and it's just amazing how green it is inside, and there's a nice river flowing through it where you can swim. There's rocks where you can hike up, but it's by far my favorite. Followed by Yosemite for me is Yellowstone National Park. It spans across 3 states. The one we went to was in Wyoming, United States, and that one was fun as well. They've got a huge population of brown and black bears, grizzly bears. They've got huge populations of bison and deer, and it's just so picturesque. Just look at all these pictures of Yellowstone. It is the first national park of America, and it is huge. You can keep driving in it for days together. Forget about hiking through the national park, but it's an amazing place to go, and it's a must visit. And all of these 3 national parks, including Bryce, and the next one we're going to go to is Zion National Park, which is, again, I'm really excited about Zion National Park as well, because it has some amazing things to offer. All of these national parks are so different from each other, and again, they're all covered in that annual pass of $80 that I spoke about. You can visit all of these throughout the year. You can camp in the national forest. Imagine, you're not spending any money beyond that to get these amazing vistas for yourself, your friends, your family. So as a student, if you're thinking of traveling in the US and you're looking for ways to actually make it work in low cost, then national parks, great place to be. Something you should look out for.